Today's AskReddit post. What are the non-obvious signs of a smart person? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. Nuance in their understanding of things. Yep. Smart people rarely make big absolute statements about anything. I see what you did there. Nice try, BuzzFeed. I found one. How to be smart. Avoid BuzzFeed. I mean, their quizzes are so dumb they're funny and are good time wasters. But taking anything BuzzFeed says as true, especially the headline. Very dumb. Plain BuzzFeed. Yes, BuzzFeed's news, on the other hand, has put out some pretty interesting investigative journalism. Being able to acknowledge when they're wrong. This, and also being able to admit I don't know, or simply being quiet when they don't know something, as opposed to trying to sound smart in spite of their ignorance. Edit. Thanks for all the happy cake day wishes. I also have over 20 chat requests. I must confess my ignorance of the chat system on Reddit. I don't know how to tell who is making the requests or if, in a given moment, a particular requester is available to chat. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. I say it's better to remove all doubt sooner than later. Less disappointment for everyone. Talking to a dumb person will make you feel smart. Talking to a smart person will make you feel dumb. Talking to a very smart person will make you feel smart. If you are the smartest person in a room, you are in the wrong room. If you think you're the smartest person in the room, you can still learn plenty from the dummies. The thing with being of above average intelligence is that you get used to being right, realizing that you can still learn things from people who might have a lower IQ score or less education than you is one of the biggest leaps you can make towards opening your mind and really learning. I agree with this. It's a matter of pulling bits and pieces from multitudes of perspectives. They don't have to be highly intellectual to obtain valuable experiential knowledge. Every single person has something to teach. It's hard to even talk about this topic without feeling gross about publicly acknowledging that you believe you may be above average. But it is an amazing feeling when someone can give you strong enough information and interaction with real depth to expand from. You constantly have to check that you aren't stuck in your own echo chamber. You also get so used to having to challenge your own ideas and question your own beliefs that it is truly exciting when someone does it for you. I get a real kick out of being confused or when someone makes me stop mid-sentence and think, well, shit, I didn't think of that. They tend to be, at least in my experience, more open to criticism or being shown facts that change their opinions on things. I don't know if that really falls under smart or more of a wise trait. I'd say wise. But often those who are wise are smart, just not the other way around due to people being arrogant. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Edit. Changed to reflect the more coherent thoughts of my fellow redditors. As I wrote the original in a half-asleep daze. You winks off rain is very wise. Edit. Wow, I started at 33 karma before posting this comment. Thanks for the gold. Stranger, but might not be smart. They acknowledge areas where they lack knowledge. Sort of the exact opposite of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Yep, exactly so. Socrates was the original thinker here though. Roughly, am I the wisest man? I do not know everything. But the fact I know that I do not know everything makes me the wisest man. Couldn't leave it at that. The exact quote is, I am wiser than this man. For neither of us appears to know anything great and good, but he fancies he knows something although he knows nothing, whereas as I do not know anything, so I do not fancy I do. In other words, I don't get about things. I accept what I don't know. That makes me wiser than those who guess. Philosophy prof here. Sorry, but your interpretation is incorrect. The wise accept the possibility that what they know could be wrong. In other words, only fools think that what they know is certain and infallible. Thus Socrates' famous claim not to know anything. So wouldn't you claiming the other interpretation is incorrect and yours is the correct interpretation imply that you think what you're stating is certain and infallible? You're claiming to know something. Therefore you are a fool. Grinning face with clenched teeth. Larger dendrites in the frontal and temporal lobes. Your front lobe. Your mom has front and back lobes. Thank you. She's a freak for both lobes at once too. The dirty minx. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Charles Bukowski. That's actually a misquote of Bertrand Russell. The fundamental cause of trouble in the world today is that the stupid are cocksure while the intelligent are full of doubt. That's actually a misquote of Fozzie Bear. The fundamental cause of trouble in the world today is that the stupid are cocksure while the intelligent are full of doubt. Waka waka. That's actually a misquote of Chewbacca. Wag frog. Double quote. That's actually a misquote of Groot. The underlying problem of societal impacts upon human behavior is the inevitably disappointing way that intelligence is displayed in one's personality. Essentially, people of a higher intelligence containing less confidence of their knowledge, and vice versa. It's truly a harrowing fact of life. Edit. Typo. Meant to say, I am Groot. The ability to see both sides of the coin rather than just one side. What about the third side? Never forget the third side. You can balance Nicholas on that side. Also quarters too, if you're good at balancing. 20p, 50p and £1 are easiest to balance because of their flat edges. Laughs in British. They won't argue with stupid people. Even if they know they're right, they won't do it. It's impossible to win against a stupid person. They're too stubborn and never have the self-awareness to know they're wrong. Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Mark Twain. Never trust quote attribution on the internet. Benjamin Franklin. Till that Reddit has not met a lot of smart people. Reddit has a lot of teenagers. And teenagers often think they know the answer to questions like this, even though their experience is limited. So a lot of these answers sound like a kid's version of what a smart person is. Teenagers are walking examples of the Dunning-Kruger effect. They are at an age where they now know enough to believe they know everything. They need another 10-20 years before they learn enough to realize that they know duck all. Facts. Realized at 21 I might not be that smart. Figured out at 24 I probably know a lot less than I think I do. Finally at 27 I know that I don't know shit about shit. Just wait until you get to the 30s. Admitting when they're wrong. Updating their opinions beliefs when presented with proper evidence. I don't know about this one. Met plenty of smart people in my life. Few of them able to admit they're wrong. You can be extremely smart and an enormous asshole. In fact, the two coincide often. They weren't that smart then. You'd be surprised. Some of the most brilliant people you can ever meet can also be the most insufferable. Being right all the time makes you arrogant. Are they really right all the time, or they shove their rightness through your throat? They realize not everyone is smart the same way. Your stupid hick neighbor might have dropped out of school in 8th grade, but he can drive your car once and tell you exactly what's wrong. Then fix it. That asshole in school that had no empathy for anyone and showed no emotion made that sci-fi shit you thought would never be real. Yep, she's dingy and her worldview is tiny, but she's the best teacher you've ever met and inspires tons of kids to go on and do great things with themselves. There's no one size fits all answer here really. Edit. Wow, my first gold. Thanks guys. I'm glad so many people feel this. I use this analogy regularly with my high school students. I have college degrees and am relatively intelligent in some ways. My brother is a brilliant mechanic. When my car breaks down on the side of the road, I call him to come fix it. Which one of us is the smart one? Edit. Brakes. The one who knows how to spell brakes? Sorry, couldn't resist. Haha. No worries. I earned that shit. I feel like I can't think of an answer for this one without immediately thinking of multiple contradictory examples. I've spent my entire adult life in academia, and there really isn't a unifying characteristic of all of the highly successful people I have met. I suppose if I were trying to get a sense of someone in an interview setting, I would look for evidence of active listening and ability to ask critical questions on the fly. That said, I know some pretty smart people who are perpetually distracted listeners. I think that's because our definition of smart is so nebulous. Is being smart about knowing lots of things? Is it about being a good learner or a quick learner? Do smart people have innate talent, or have they worked for years to achieve their success? Is having academic intelligence smart? What about emotional intelligence? You might call someone who can memorize things quickly smart, but you'd also call someone who can work out problems quickly smart. It's smart to take a long time to figure out a clever solution to the same problem. Does studying make you smart? Take 2 straight A students. One studies for hours, and the other is able to pick up subject material quickly in class with little supplemental work. Which one is smarter? I think smart is a catch-all word for describing a lot of different mental states and dispositions. But, especially during grade school, it's reduced down to certain kinds of success. I personally define intelligence as the ability to think critically and abstractly. It has nothing to do with admitting you are wrong, or not arguing with stupid people, or many of the other answers in this thread. Those answers to me are indicative of emotional intelligence, which is an equally, if not more, important, but different trait. Do you think critical and abstract thinking might contribute to decisions like separating your ego from whether you are wrong, or recognizing that an argument with a certain person is fruitless? To an extent. Because even if you're intelligent enough to know that you're being narcissistic or that you shouldn't do something, that doesn't mean that you're mature enough to act appropriately. Like, I get into stupid Reddit arguments all the time that I care are a waste of my time. But then I am also bored and can't help myself. Just because you logically know not to do something doesn't mean you won't do it anyways. Pattern recognition. Part of the reason smart people throughout history are well known is because they discovered something new and figured out how to maximize its potential. Darwin was a guy who discovered a bunch of islands with slightly different animals. He then collected and analyzed that data to come up with a theory of evolution, which was largely correct. Einstein's theory of relativity was based off of his observation that physics acted on everything equally. He figured out that exceptions were because of the way high-speed objects interact with the universe's speed limit, the speed of light. He recognized these exceptions by gathering them and recognizing the pattern between them all, then created his theory of relativity based on that. I'd say that the faster and or deeper a person can recognize patterns, the smarter they are. Don't get caught up in unnecessary arguments. I have found that this comes to a certain point when another person is not able to process something and therefore stays with his opinion. After a few tries, the smart person just gives up. There is no use in trying to make someone understand something while they already have an uneducated opinion. Absolutely, some people are just too stubborn to accept that they are wrong. Have had someone, after being given video evidence they were wrong, delete their account rather than admit they were wrong, is astounding to me. The Dunning-Kruger study was inspired by the following real-life event. A man wanted to rob a bank. He knew lemon juice could be used as invisible ink. He put lemon juice on his face, believing that CCTV would not see him, as it would render him invisible to CCTV. He robbed 2 banks. The cops saw the CCTV footage. The man was arrested. In court, the man saw the CCTV footage, claiming it to be fake, still believing in his original plan. The man displayed no symptoms of insanity, baffling basically everyone involved with his ignorance. The question, how is a man so ignorant so confident? Dunning-Kruger have the answer. They know how to explain concepts on just about any level, tailoring that level to their intended audience, and without coming across as condescending in any way. This is the sign of a good teacher, not a smart person. They're not the same thing. I have had brilliant professors who were pioneers in their field, but couldn't explain anything for shit. Sure, they were smart, but taking their classes sucked ass. It takes time to learn how to explain things to people. When I was younger, I had a hard time understanding that people didn't have the same level of intelligence, and things that were very plainly obvious to me were hard for other people. I had to train myself to stop saying it's easy, just do this that way, and it took a friend telling me that I came across as condescending when I was genuinely trying to help. Being a parent really helped me honing these skills. Now every time someone tells me that I'm very intelligent and they are dumb, my first impulse is to say that there are many kinds of intelligence and no one is born knowing everything. Non-obvious sign. I would have to say emotional intelligence. Most people picture a smart person being like the typical movies nerd that is really smart at everything except social interactions or flirting, but that's not the case. Really smart people can also pick up on social cues faster and better than regular people. Take Richard Feynman for example. He was really smart but was also very sociable. Don't forget about Einstein, allegedly a compulsive womanizer. Can confirm. I'll duck Einstein. You duck him only for his brain. You're so shallow. I'm looking for a mind at work. They're happy to be wrong about something, and then will take the time to learn about the subject. The same will go for politics. Rather than just dismissing the other person's opinion, they'll take the time to understand it. Imo. This is just having a good attitude and willingness to learn. Way more important than being smart BTW. But lots of dumb people do this and lots of smart people don't. They are often not very obvious. In fact, I'd venture to say they would have to be not obvious in order to qualify. The smartest people I have known were somewhat reserved. Smart equals not a dumbass. Has nothing to do with some educated, obsessive, extrovert. Red Foreman, is that you? They'll listen to the other's facts and points and take them into account when giving an objection. They know when to talk and when to listen. They know when to hold them, and occasionally when to fold them. They don't boast about their knowledge because they're smart enough to know no one really cares. I think it's more that they know enough to know that they are far from knowing everything. Self-critical and humorous. Self-irony, aka self-defecating humor. It's deprecating, but I think I like your version more. Face with tears of joy. I mean, who says a person who self-defecates can't be smart? And you can never say they don't give a shit. Sometimes just silence. Silence is a powerful aphrodisiac. Tell that to the girls at my school. They don't feel that they're intelligent, whatever that means. Seriously, can anyone give me a proper, personal definition of an intelligent person? While they know they are smarter than the average person, they also know there are people way smarter than them in any given subject or multiple subjects. It's often the quality of questions they ask to help you come to a strong conclusion despite knowing the answer, or how exactly to get it. They usually don't scream when they talk. They don't start physical fights. They stop arguing when they realize that someone is desperately dumb. They learn from their mistakes. Not trying to say I'm smart. I am in fact a ducking idiot. But my defense is that when I talk, sometimes I am told I am too quiet. Sometimes I am told I am too loud. And it's just ducking breaking me. A smart person doesn't tell people that he or she is smart. I don't think that is the case, and neither do I think that should be the case. Saying that you're smart is a point where people easily think that you're arrogant. I don't understand why it should be allowed to talk positive about yourself regarding any trait but intelligence. Having conversations with your peers, for example about grades in university, one's intelligence is gonna come up. And in situations like this, I don't get why you shouldn't talk about intelligence. I honestly don't think grades are a great reflection on intelligence. Some people excel in academia but struggle in the real world and vice versa. It's sort of an artificial environment that rewards compliance and thoughtless work ethic. An attention span longer than 5 seconds says a lot about her. I see what you. This reminds me of the old Candler Jack meme throw. What are y'all talking ab? What are you guys saw? Not constantly bragging about their intelligence. If they truly are smart, people can figure that out pretty quickly without them doing anything to show it. You generally only brag about things you're insecure about because you seek validation. If you are very comfortable with your intelligence, then you may not care if someone misinterprets you and makes you look dumb or something. You have nothing to prove. That's not just for intelligence but for anything. before speaking. They organize their thoughts for cogency. It's more the opposite for many really intelligent people. They think so much in depth or want to get out the stuff they know, go further into details so fast. The opposite can't keep up. While they are still thinking about the problem, the other one has already the resolution. IDK how to explain it better. That's also what I'd say. Ironically, smart people tend to speak more fluently when tired or under the effects of alcohol. They think less, so it's easier to organize thoughts. I feel this one. I wouldn't call myself impressively intelligent, but I realize I struggle to have a fluent conversation with people when I'm completely sober because my thoughts race too fast that I tend to lose track of what I was about to say and just need to take a moment to put all my thoughts into a sentence. That makes sense. But when I'm just a bit drunk, it's like I suddenly only have to deal with one voice in my head, so it's way easier to speak what I'm thinking without stuttering or jumbling my sentences. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.